Hi everybody, this is Greg Gimeno, attorney with Chesapeake Wills and Trust and author of the book, How to Protect Your Home and Life Savings in Maryland. And in today's video, I'm going to talk to you about the two types of trust you can create. So when we talk about the two types of trust you can create, it really comes down to the timing and when those trusts are created. You can create a trust during your lifetime, and we call those living trusts, or you could create a trust after your death. We call those testamentary trust or post-death trusts. So let's start first with the post-death trust. And why would you want to create a post-death trust? Well, let's say we are trying to protect money for or from a certain beneficiary. So let's say you want to give money to a young child. I have young children, and if something were to happen to me and my wife, there's no way I would want these kids to have access to my money. So we put it into a trust, and we put someone in charge of making the distributions if the kids need it for education, for health care, for helping to pay for a wedding, helping to buy a house. Those are the types of things that the trustee can give money towards them at their discretion. And perhaps when the kids reach a certain age, they can then have control of the assets of the trust. Another reason why you may want to create a post-death or a testamentary trust is if you are giving money to someone who is disabled. So let's say that you have someone, a kid or a grandchild or someone you love, a beneficiary you're trying to give money to, and that person is disabled. And maybe that person is receiving government benefits. They're receiving Social Security benefits. And there are certain types of Social Security benefits that are means-tested benefits, meaning they can only have so much money to their name in order to qualify for the benefits. If they inherited part of your estate outright, it would throw them off of their government benefits. They would lose potentially their housing, their health care, their health insurance, their Medicaid benefits. So instead of just giving the money to them, what you would do is you would create a special needs trust or a supplemental needs trust that would allow the person to continue on their government benefits, but using that money to help supplement their care. Now, maybe you have someone who's not disabled and is not a minor child, but maybe who's very bad with money or has credit problems. So if you have a child or a beneficiary who owes $100,000 to a credit card company, if you give them $100,000 of your inheritance in their pocket, their creditors could reach right in and get the money. If you place it in a special kind of asset protection trust, post-death, a testamentary trust, you can protect the inheritance from the creditors or even divorce of the people that you are leaving it to. Or you could have a beneficiary who has a drug or alcohol or gambling problem. If you know that the money reached their hands, they would do something very bad with it. So that's why you would create a post-death trust or a testamentary trust to protect the assets for and from the people you're leaving it to. Now, the other type of trust you can create is a living trust. So think about if a testamentary trust is formed after your death, a living trust is formed while you are alive. So why would we want to create a living trust? Well, we could create a revocable or an irrevocable trust. Both of those things could be used for probate avoidance, okay, to keep your assets out of the court system, to help to marshal your assets, to put them under one titled owner, being the trust. And if something happens to you or your spouse, that you are able to select someone else to help manage your assets as a substitute trustee upon your disability. Or you may want to create an asset protection trust, an irrevocable trust, to help make sure that your assets are protected should you go into a nursing home, if you are involved in a profession where you're afraid that you may get sued, to try to protect your assets from lawsuits or potential creditors who may be out there seeking to get a portion of your estate. So with a living trust, you form that during your lifetime to help to manage your assets upon your disability, help prevent your assets from going through the court's probate process, and to potentially protect your assets from nursing home long-term care costs. So there you have it. Those are the two types of trust that you can create. A living trust while you're alive, or a testamentary trust, a post-death trust to protect the assets for and from beneficiaries. Thank you very much for watching our video. And if you are watching on our YouTube page, take a look at the description down below. You will find links to order a free copy of my book, How to Protect Your Home and Life Savings in Maryland, and also links to our free online webinar.